Hey, nice guy community. Steve O'Brien got really sick of Doug and Strick, so it's Anna, the production assistant, tuning in here, and here's what you're going to hear on the Nice Guys on Business today.
Right. I remember hearing the CEO of Burger King talking one time about, you need to offer more healthy choices. He basically said, you know what? We offered salads. Nobody fucking bought them. Okay. And when we put a croissant out there, people say, I want a double croissant. I want a triple fucking croissant. I want a croissant that when I eat it, it gives me heart failure immediately. And you know what? We're a publicly traded company and we have a responsibility to our shareholders. So if that's what people want, that's what we're going to give them.
Hey, nice guy community. This is Anna, not Anna. I'm even confused about it. This production assistant here tuning in. Just wanted to let you know that I'm definitely the one running the show and making the magic happen. And just wanted to introduce the Nice Guys on Business.
Need an education on how to grow your business? The Nice Guys are here to help. Learn about great customer service, networking, and how just being nice can help you prosper. Now, here are your hosts, Doug Sandler and Strickland Bonner.
Hey, nice guy community. Welcome back. Welcome back. It is Doug and I, and we are still ranting about the rant on Uber, the Uber CEO.
Yeah, but hold on. Before you do that, we've got to do the normal pitch because if we don't do this, Strick, we've got.
My name's Strickland. It's Doug on the other side of the microphone. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's not just that. It's do we want to actually have the show work? Do we want to have a format that works, or are we just going to keep so loosey-goosey for the entire time that we run this fucking show that we're going to not only not make any money, but we're going to have people that are going to tune out because they have no idea what's going on?
Does structure equal money? I don't know. I guess it does.
Not all the time.
Okay, but, Doug, put these in order. Employees, customers, products, and systems.
That was very good. Very good. Do I have to do that right now?
No, you don't. You can get back to me on that.
Let me get back to you on that. I have to take some internal notes. My tapes are going off in my head. If you missed any of my tapes going off, go back to Tuesday's episode where Julie Riesler was a guest on the show. And not only did I insult gay people and Jewish people on the show, but I also talked about Uber. What did we talk about Uber? It's so many things.
By the way, Doug's tapes are 8-track tapes too. Keep that
real to real, man. They're real to real. If you haven't had a moment to head over to the Patreon site, please take a second and do that. We are now funded entirely by Patreon. It is patreon.com/nice guy. Nice guys. Is it nice guys?
Nice guys.
Yeah. Patreon.com/nice guys. Just go over to our Patreon site and you'll see this crazy fun video that Steve O'Brien, audio that Steve O'Brien did with a very nice. I don't even know what it was.
It's a great ad. It basically spoofs the Save the Children ad and it's Save the Podcast, and it's so fucking funny.
So just so you're aware, the ad was already kicked off of YouTube.
No, it was cited. It wasn't kicked off. It was cited, right?
Was it? Yeah, it was
actually
cited.
Kicked off?
No, you can't listen to it anymore.
Really?
No, I don't think that you can see it. If you
gotta go to
YouTube,
Patreon, then anyway, it's fine.
Yeah, go to patreon.com/nice guys. Look at the video or watch the audio that is on the video that Steve O'Brien had done for us. And and while you're there, could you contribute a couple of bucks to the show? If you do that, we will be forever in your debt. Well, we're actually ever going to pay you back. So we're just going to keep your money. But we're going to give you a lot of great value and entertainment. And speaking of which, we did not deliver the Nice Guy Promise statement last time, Strickland.
We didn't. Let's go ahead and do that right now.
Yeah, just go ahead and do that.
No, go for it, Doug. Go ahead and do the Nice Guy
something
Promise.
About delivering experience that is entertaining and adds value.
Yeah, that would be to provide a learning experience that is entertaining and adds value to your life.
I figure one line I should memorize it. I'm just going to tattoo it to my arm with the other two tattoos that I have.
There you go.
Do you have any tattoos?
No, I do not.
Would you ever get one?
I thought about it once and I just didn't. I changed my mind. Yeah, I went down.
Now, your wife has a tattaoo on her foot, doesn't she?
She does. She has one on her back, too. She has 2 tattoos, yeah.
I have two tattoos as well, and I'd get a third. I just don't really know what I would get, and I'd really want to colorize the one that's on my arm. I think that would be, for me, that would be totally cool. I got mine in Vegas at a very rough patch in my life. And it was the same rough patch that actually had me jumping out of an airplane. I think it was the same day. I think we actually went from the airport where we were jumping out of the plane to the tattoo place to have it done.
It's called a midlife crisis, Doug.
Yeah, but it was a midlife crisis. I was in my early 40s.
Yeah.
Oh, is that when you have midlife crisis? I thought maybe closer to 50 or even
depends.
55 is.
It varies. It depends. No, definitely 40s to early 50s is the time. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I definitely went through it then. So let's finish the topic that we started on Tuesday. If you missed it, you can go back and listen to our rant about the CEO from Uber. So you pick up the conversation, Strick, because you had an interesting point, and I can't exactly put my finger on it right now. Do you remember what it was?
Here's my take on it. So first of all, the guy who is the driver, he says, hey, you've lowered your rates and you cost me $93,000 last year, right?
Right.
Okay,
right.
So let's try and put this in perspective because everything is relative. Okay, this guy's driving for Uber. Now, I'm guessing he's not driving 20 hours a day every day. So let's say he's doing a regular work week, right? Now, he's still driving for Uber even though he's lost $93,000 from his income the previous year. Now, that says to me that his income, I have to believe then, last year was at least $120,000, $130,000, maybe closer to $150,000 driving for Uber because if 90% of his income was cut, he wouldn't be doing it anymore. So let's hypothetically say that he lost even if it was 70% of his income, which means he made $140,000 last year, right? And he's complaining. He's like, "Oh my God,
I know what you're going to do. You're about to count somebody else's income. You're about to count their money.
No,
where you're going.
No, let me finish up with this because this is all about where else would you have that opportunity, right? Okay, here let's do it different. Let's say I'm doing a job and I made $50,000, and I'm doing this job for 5 years, making $50,000. Now, the owner of the company 1 year says, "Oh my God, we had an amazing year. I am giving everybody in the company a bonus of $100,000, right? So 1 year, and now this is after you've been doing your job for 5 years for $50,000 a year. 1 year you make $150,000 because it was so great that he gives everybody a bonus, right?
Okay.
The next year you go back and he says, you know what? We had a good year, but it wasn't a great year. So I'm going to give you a bonus of $50,000.
I don't like where you're going. Compared
to the previous year. Now, wait a minute. I'm trying to say everything is relative, right? Because in that year that you only made $100,000, now you're saying to yourself, you cut my pay you cost me $50,000.
Hold on a second, though. What if I took the job with the understanding, based upon what I see as a history of somebody that is an Uber driver in a New York or in Chicago or busy metropolitan area or city area? Let's say that they say, I'm looking at other Uber drivers that are really hustling, and these guys are making $150,000, and I get my car and I get my vehicle and I am ready to go, and now I am an Uber driver and I am busting my ass, and this is my first year and I make $150,000. Competition comes into the area and Lyft comes into the area and Uber says, holy shit, we can't do this anymore. We've got to not cut our driver, but we got to cut the fares, which in essence is cutting the driver's pay. They don't. Sure. I know they know that they're affecting the driver's pay, but they got to keep up with the competition.
Yep.
So instead of now this guy making $150,000, which he made in his first year, his second year he makes $60,000. So he loses $90,000 of income as a result of it. And he said, and then this guy gets in his car and he says, "You cut our mileage, so now we're making 60% less money than we made, or 70% less money than we made last year." And the guy says, "Hey, I'm really sorry, but we had to keep up with our competition." The guy says, "Well, you made me lose $90,000." And then the answer by the CEO is, "Why are you blaming this on me? If you don't like this, go get a new job." Is basically what I'm hearing him say. The guy has a choice. He can either get a new job, but Uber is not. It's not like they gave him something that they're taking away. They actually are. Did they consult the driver? Did the driver care? If the driver cared, then he maybe had an opportunity to leave. I'm looking at both sides of it for a second and just saying, this driver, he is in charge of his own future. If he doesn't like what he's making, he should go somewhere else. But he's invested this money and this time and this resource in Uber, and I think he wants to try to make it work. He's confused and he's struggling with the drop in income. Period. That's it.
Sure, but he's blaming the CEO. He's basically saying, "Why did you do this? You cost me so much money." And my answer 100% is there are two things. First of all, you are under no contract. Go find another job. A very smart man once said to me, "You are only worth what somebody else is willing to pay you," right? So if he goes and talks to Lyft drivers and finds out that Lyft drivers are making $150,000 a year, then he should fucking go drive for Lyft, all right? But here's the problem. The way I see it is I am a company and I create a widget, and this is the greatest, most unique widget ever created. And so I have to hire a team of 100 people to create these widgets, right? Now, I sell these widgets for $200 each. Okay. And because of that, I can afford to pay everybody in my company $100,000 a year. Okay. Now, a year goes by and my widgets are selling great. The next year, somebody else creates a knockoff widget. And it's not similar enough that I can sue them, but it is a widget that provides a very similar service to my widget. They're selling that widget for $125. Okay. Now, I say my widget's better. I'm going to keep selling for $200 and my sales drop like crazy. So my option is I can either continue to try to sell for $200 a widget, in which case I may lose 70 to 80% of my sales
and potentially go out of business.
Or I can cut the price of my widget. Now, I'm going to sell my widget now at $125 also because I still think it's better, but I'm going to price it the same way as the knockoff widget. I can't afford to pay my employees $100,000 to make this anymore because I will lose money. That's the way I see it. And yes, It sucks that it cut the pay so much, but what the fuck are you going to do? Lyft came out with a better widget.
Yeah, I think that we're at a spot where things are changing so rapidly. This driver, he doesn't know who to blame. He's coming up with, hey, well, this is the CEO's fault. And because he's also looking at the CEO, I'm sure, and saying he's got a company worth $47 billion or whatever that cost, that price that the value of Uber is. And he's saying, this isn't even going to be a dent on, for you. For me, this is my family income. I'm dependent upon this, in order to survive. For you, what's the difference of $90,000? Yep. You should write me a check for $90,000 right now. And then you get to the point where you say, now that's a bit of entitlement, right?
And as the CEO of the company, my thought is, and he seemed like he was trying to be very polite about it at first until he was just like lost his shit about it, right? Yeah. My attitude is, first of all, you should be lucky that you had the opportunity to make $150,000 when you're jumping into something early.
He can't say that though, because that sounds like a total dick.
Of course, this is the undiplomatic way to say it, but this has got to be what's going on in his mind. And if I'm the CEO, this is exactly what would be going on in my mind, right? First of all, you should be thanking me that you had the opportunity to make $150,000 just for driving your car around. Okay. Second of all, if I kept the rates what they were, you wouldn't have that opportunity at all. All right. In other words, I know you're only making 40 or 50 or whatever it is you're making now. But if I kept the rates the way they were before, you wouldn't be able to make 150. You'd make nothing because the company would be out of business. And third of all, I am a publicly traded company. I think he's publicly traded. I don't know. I think they went public, right? And because of that, I have a responsibility to my shareholders, and that is to grow the company.
All right.
And
I love it.
unfortunately, the only way I felt that I could grow the company was by cutting the individual rates.
All right. So let's rewind for a moment and go to that YouTube video, and let's just look at, and we're not going to analyze the video because we can't get the audio on the show, although we can figure out at some point how to do that in the future. For right now, we don't know how to do that. So let's just take that last 30 seconds where the Uber driver, and we'll put the link in the show notes so you guys have the ability to actually watch the video and determine for yourself, where he starts to lose his shit and the things that he could have said differently. So you now have a guy that's a driver that's not irate, but he's arguing with you to the point where he's actually making a good, valid point, and he's not being either condescending or even threatening. He's just saying, hey, listen, I think you've messed me up. As the CEO, give me some words that he could have said. And I think you really are touching on it there. And I think, Strick, you probably could do this eloquently. Tell me what words the CEO should have said to the driver so that the driver didn't either feel threatened or so that you're able to make your point. So at least to the point where you're getting out of the car now. So you got like 20 seconds to do that. So can you say some of those words?
Look, everything that I just said to you, I would say to him in a much more diplomatic way. I would basically say, look, Lyft came in and they basically undercut what we did. And by the way, last time I was in Vegas, I took Lyft everywhere and it was ridiculously cheap. And I heard comments from people saying, oh yeah, I do Uber, but it's a good bit more expensive, right? So bottom line is Lyft came in and they're doing it a lot cheaper. if I had kept your rates where they were, you wouldn't be getting any rides. In other words, nobody would be using it because Lyft is half the price of Uber. So by lowering the per mile rate, I have continued to allow you guys to keep getting rides. Otherwise, we'd be out of business.
Yeah, I love the fact that you brought in the shareholders too, if it is a publicly traded company or not. I'm not 100% sure, but the idea that you have somebody else that you have to report to, that's critical too.
Well, that's the thing with like the fast food places, right? I remember hearing the CEO of Burger King talking one time about people are like, you need to offer more healthy choices. And the CEO basically, I don't think it actually was the CEO. I think it was the PR guy, right? He basically said, you know what? We offered salads. Nobody fucking bought them. Okay. And when we put a croissant out there, people say, I want a double croissant. I want a triple fucking croissant. I want a croissant that when I eat it, it gives me heart failure immediately. And you know what? We're a publicly traded company and we have a responsibility to our shareholders. So if that's what people want, that's what we're going to give them.
And the other side of it is too, and we'll move on from our topic because I know we spent a lot of time talking about this on Tuesday, but it is a heated topic. It's if the guy delivered it, the CEO of Uber delivered his message to the driver of that Uber vehicle that day on that YouTube video. If he showed any level of empathy, it would have made a huge difference. If he would have just said something like, hey, I am really sorry. I apologize. I wish that there was a way that we could fix this. We have competition. We have shareholders. I don't know. I would love to hear what your suggestions are. Can you send me an email? Here is my direct email address. Can you send me an email? Write them down. And I would love to read this email to our board of directors so that they can feel what you're feeling too.
But you know what's interesting? Ultimately, what happened with this was, and we're going to see long term what happens, but the apology that he gave out, he basically said, and you know, we've seen plenty of corporate apologies before that feel like a lot of bullshit, right?
Yeah.
What he said was, he basically went, you know what? When I saw this back, I realized what an ass I was. And I realized that there's a lot going on that I need to work on as a leader.
As a leader,
He didn't just say, I disrespected you. He basically said, you know what? Obviously, I think I've done this to a lot of people, and it is my responsibility not to just steer the company and make us profitable, but I need to be a leader, and I haven't been a good leader, and I'm going to look at myself in the mirror and try and figure out how I can do better. So ultimately, I think it was great that came from it. But I totally agree with you, Doug, that the perfect way to do it would have been exactly what you just said.
Yeah, and that just is not oftentimes the case because people, they lose their shit way too quickly. They lose their shit way too fast.
Now, Doug, you know what? This feels a lot like business advice. Like, are we actually giving good business advice on the show today?
Let's move on. Let's move on from that. Can I talk about an experience that I had with Warby Parker? Have you ever heard of Warby Parker?
No idea.
Okay, so Warby Parker is an optical store, but they're an online. They're a storefront that's online, and they actually have brick and mortar stores as well.
Yeah.
So. And they're very fashionably. They used to be just pop-up shops. I think that's where they all got started. They were just a store that would pop up in the definition of a pop-up shop, I guess, is a store that takes over a store that somebody abandoned or left. With leaving some.
News to me. I had no idea.
Oh, never heard of a pop-up either?
No.
Ah, very cool. Okay, so
pop-up video.
So yeah, saying pop-up on your what? You singing a song?
VH1, yeah. Pop-up video. Wasn't that it? I don't remember.
No, pop music. That was by
M.
M. That's right.
It was actually British DJ Robin Scott. That song was number one for 1 week in 1979.
How do you know that?
I am the Rain Man of rock and roll. What can I say?
Really?
Yeah, I didn't even look that one up. I know that one off the top of my head.
Stacey Sherman, can you confirm or deny what Strickland just went through? Pop music by M. I could tell you that.
Yeah.
Interesting. Anyway, so Warby Parker is this optical store, and I walk into Warby Parker. Hi, how can we help you? And I just said, I'm looking for a new pair of glasses, and he basically looked at my glasses, and in a matter of, he didn't even take them off my head, but that's a good thing because that would have been a little bit in my own personal space. He said, those are, what the heck do I have? I have my regular glasses are Oakley glasses, titanium frame, and he told me basically the make and model of them. He looked at my lenses for all of about half a second. He said, those are transition lenses that are progressive in nature. I mean, he was like a total like eyeglass nerd.
That's cool.
And he said, let me guess, you spent $900 on your glasses. And I said, yeah. How did you know that? He said, well, I used to work for LensCrafter, and LensCrafter owns blah, 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 blah. And he mentioned like 90% of the eyeglass world is owned by like one organization.
Not surprising, yeah.
So I'm not surprised either. So anyway, he's like Mr. Know-It-All, but he didn't do it in this know-it-all way. He was just totally cool.
Really
and nerdy.
helpful, right?
Yeah, really helpful the way he does it. I said, I'm looking for a new pair of glasses. So he takes me over to he says, all of our glasses are unisex. Well, I thought that was pretty cool too.
Okay.
So any glasses, the right side of the store.
Although it's funny that you say that. Like I'm on their website right now. I click on eyeglasses, and the first thing that pops up that I happen to click as soon as you said that, it says shop men, shop women.
Well, you can shop men, shop women, but they are all the same glasses. Maybe the storefront might be different than their online.
That's all right.
Anyway,
it's just funny.
The right side of the store was sunglasses. The left side was optical, where you can actually pick prescription lenses. And so I went through their. They probably had 100 different frames, maybe more. I went through their 100 frames, and he said. Pick a frame that you like, and I will match it up to the ones that you have right now. And I promise you, we're going to be probably 50 to 60% cheaper than the ones that you have out the door with tax, with everything. I'm like, no fucking way. Mm-hmm. So I found this pair of glasses that I really like through Warby Parker, and I forgot my credit card. I didn't have a credit card with me. He says, okay, not a problem at all. We're going to put together the entire order for you, and then I'm going to email you the prescription and all of the information. I had my prescription on me. I'm going to email you the entire order, and then you just click buy when you have your credit card in front of you, and we're going to ship them to you. I'm like, this is pretty cool too. So there's now in my mind, there is a cooperation between the storefront and the online store, which totally cohesive. Like it's seamless, which was great.
Yeah.
I get home, there's already an email in my box. I just click on it. I set up an account, it literally took 60 seconds. I looked at my prescription, exactly what I wanted, the exact pair of glasses that I tried on in the store. I ordered them. Okay, now I forgot to tell them I didn't want something, or I wanted something, and it was obvious in the order that I had forgot to check off a box or something. Within an hour, they sent me an email. Hey, we're reviewing your order. We see that you forgot to check this off. Could you just let me know? You can either call me or email me, or you can call the store too. I'm like, fuck yes.
Wow.
So again, just completely seamless with all this shit that they have going on. I ordered my glasses. The glasses were less than 50% of the glasses that I originally bought. And now I'm like totally happy. I can't wait to get my new frames.
Oh, that's really cool, because I know many episodes ago I had a rant on VisionWorks, and it was just horrible. It's a horrible fucking experience, because it is all about sales, push, push, push. Hey, buy one, get one free. No bullshit. It is totally not buy one, get one anywhere close to free. And, they tell you, oh yeah, this is only going to be a $99 frame. Oh yeah, by the way, here's the final bill, $578. It's like, it's
right.
Total bullshit, and it's all sales, and they're not helpful at all like that. They're helpful in that way of, hey, let me try and sell you this, and let me try and push this on you, and
there was no upsell, no anything. Just let me help you. Let me give you what you want. Let me make some suggestions to you. If you want them, great. If you don't, no big deal. The online store, we don't work on commission. That's not how we work. Any store can help you. Any online site can. And I was totally in love with this whole process.
The seamless nature of the store to the online too.
Yeah.
Man, I mean, that's the future right there. Really, that's a great idea.
That is great. And so I invited the CEO on our show.
Oh, sweet. Well, there's certain things that you want to buy online. You want to go to Amazon.com, and other things that you want to physically be in the store. And like glasses, to me, are one of those. I did end up ultimately, after I went to VisionWorks, I ended up buying a pair of glasses online. And sure, they've got these apps where it's like, hey, you put your picture in and you can see what the glasses look like on you in a picture. It's not the same, right? Like, yep, I did buy them and I'm fine with the ones I got, but I would much prefer to walk into a store and I want to see them physically on my face and see how they feel. And, this is a great combination. This is really cool.
No, loved it. Loved the entire experience. Again, if you have not gone into Warby Parker ever, definitely take a moment. Just go to warbyparker.com and you can check out their stuff. Again, because we are now on Patreon, that was not an advertisement. That was an endorsement of our product. And so we'd love to have Neil as the CEO of. There's 4 guys that own and run the company, and they're all co-CEOs, which is again kind of cool because it fits probably very well into their culture. So I invited Neil, the CEO, on the show, and we'll see what they say. I thought that was kind of.
What about the other 3 CEOs? You can invite them all and pit them against each other.
Well, yeah, we could. We were actually going to do maybe a little 4-on-4 basketball, but I couldn't come up with 3 other people that know how to play basketball. Do you know how to play? You know how to play ball?
No, I'm thinking that like you could say to Neil, "Hey Neil, hey, Joe says is coming on. You sure you don't want to do it instead?" And that'll encourage him to come on.
Well, what I did was I looked at the one that has the biggest social media profile, and that's the one that I invited on the show.
Got it.
Speaking of which, so I did hear back from a couple of guest requests that I've had out there. So the 2 that I was really leaning hard into were Marie Forleo. She's keeping us waiting, Strick.
Oh no, he no like it. Doug no like it.
I wasn't real into the whole. I think that she was very polite with her response. Let me find this. Let me see if I can find this while I got you here. No, I can't put my finger on the exact response. Anyway, basically the response was, "Hey, we're starting up our B school." Which is Marie Forleo's school. We're starting up our B school, and we're really swamped. Can we connect with you in a couple of months?
A couple of years.
Oh, come on. Seriously? Is somebody really that busy that they can't spare 15 minutes to come on a show?
Look, I can understand that, and I can sympathize with that. But Doug, I got to tell you, I listened to her podcast. I listened to a couple of episodes. She's not all that. I mean, I'm not going to say it's bad, but it's like nothing exciting or different about it.
Remember before Gary V came on the show, I was giving Tyler, who was his handler, a whole bunch of shit on the show about the fact that, maybe it's not so good. I mean, they don't have the best customer service. It took Tyler a couple of weeks to get back to me. And then he was kind of like, a little standoffish. And then it didn't really, took a while. And then they accepted and they decided to come on. And then I was eating my words.
Yeah, it was the greatest thing ever. Yeah.
So yeah, I know you like when I have to eat my words. So could you say something really shitty about Marie Forleo? Maybe that's like the catalyst to get somebody to come on the show. So I'll let you say it. Go ahead. Just how do you really feel, Strick?
Look, I only listened to 2 episodes, and to me, it was like it's kind of the same old shit. I mean, there are just a million people out there doing that same old like advice that doesn't really get out of the comfort zone, same old kind of whatever. I mean, she may have 1 million Twitter followers or whatever, but whatever. Who gives a shit?
That begs the question, how does somebody get so fucking popular then if they just have a blah kind of message?
Well, maybe we don't appeal to the mainstream then. I don't know, because I look at that and I'm like, I don't get it. I just don't. I don't. Again, she's not terrible, but it's like, there's nothing special, nothing different.
No, I totally agree. So then I move over to another really hot topic of ours, or a hot subject, a hot potential guest of ours, and that is John Laguerre. Yeah, let me find. Again, I can't put my finger right on the response. That would require me having done any prep for today's show. So the response basically was, "Hey, we know that you really want to talk to John, and we really appreciate the mega amount of attention that you've given to T-Mobile on your show." I guess
Did
because
they say that?
Yeah, but only because I said that.
Oh, only because you told them we had.
I didn't. Yeah, I'm sure that they're listening to the show.
Right, they're just taking your word for it that we talk negative shit about.
Yeah, thanks for all the attention. Hey, listen, John is really busy, and he would love to be able to come on your show. We can't honor every request. We really would like to get somebody on your show, though. So, would you be open to having another executive from T-Mobile on the show? So, I thought that was pretty cool. So, my response back to them was something like, "Hey, we really loved the personality and the style that John has. I mean, nobody can pull off chartreuse the way that John does, and he's a really, I've never really heard him in a speech or anything. I just can sense by the way that he tweets and the way that he communicates through his writing. He's just a guy that has extremely outside the box kind of thinking. And I'm thinking, do we want somebody that's really not John Legere on the show? So let me open that to you, Strick. If they offer another exec, what do you say?
So basically they said, well, would you take somebody lesser? And you basically said, hey, thanks, but fuck you. We're more important than that. I totally think we should get somebody lesser. It was funny. I was watching, I'm not a real political guy, right? But with everything that Trump is doing, I usually am watching Meet the Press on Sundays just to catch up on the crazy shit that happened for the week, right? Last week I'm watching it and Chuck Todd says, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was basically one of these, there was something specific going on, whether it was Russia or whatever. He said, we invited, as we typically do, somebody from the White House to have a higher end executive person at the White House come and speak today. And they declined and instead offered us, I mean, he literally said they offered us a lower level staffer to come and speak, which we respectfully declined. Now, first of all, I thought that was kind of shitty of them, right? Okay, we're not fucking important enough to get one of the high-end guys, right? But the second thing was I was thinking to myself, look, when you get the high-end guys, right, they are so polished and they know exactly what's coming and they know exactly how to deflect it. I would think a lower level guy, you could beat the crap out of him and have him say some really crazy shit because he's not as good at that.
No, but how about if that lower level guy was like their handler and a PR guy and the one that's just going to put this fucking PR spin? So just so you have it, let me read to you the email exchange. It's just 2 sentences and then I'll read her response. So, or this is her response. Hey there, thanks for checking back in. Unfortunately, John's schedule, as you can imagine, is pretty jammed. However, I'm checking into what other execs might be able to do this with you, especially given your focus on business entrepreneurs. Are you open to this? I'll loop back with your thoughts. That was nice. So here was my response.
You actually did respond and say, we want John.
Yeah, I said the celeb status of John is truly what is appealing to my audience. If you feel we can get that from another T exec, I trust your judgment. Otherwise, I'm happy to be patient and wait for a small sliver of time anytime during the day or night for John. Your thoughts?
Okay, I got to tell you, to me, that's the perfect response. Okay. You basically did say, look, if there's somebody else that represents you guys well, I understand. All good. But, if we could be patient and wait for John, that'd be cool too. I think that's the perfect response. Because, come on, dude, we're not fucking Oprah. All right. I mean, we're not Regis and Kelly. I mean, I love what is going on and I love all of our funkin' fans, but come on, we're not Gary Vee. We're not fucking John Lee Dumas. I mean, we're not that big, and this guy's the CEO of fucking T-Mobile.
So hold on a second. So wait a second. So my thought process is think big, act bigger. It's the same as Jeffrey Hazlett has taught, not just me, but that's just the mentality that I've had my entire life. Is that I'm going for the big dogs. If the big dogs don't want to play with me, I'm still going to be. I'm going to act like I'm a big dog. I don't want to be the guy that's like, well, I should probably be okay with a frontline person because we don't really have a big show and everything.
No, but Doug, you're right, and this is why we are a great pair because I do often default to backing off, like, oh yeah, you're right, we're not that big, and you get the balls, you go for it big, but really your reply, which I never would have thought to take that approach, I think is totally, absolutely perfect. You're basically like, look, we really, really want John. And you know what? If it's really just a matter of being patient, we can be patient because we care about him that much. But you know what? If that can't happen, I totally understand. I respect what you're telling me, and I'll take somebody lesser. I think it's a great.
Here's what I think. I think that we have landed enough of the big fish to realize one thing: the big fish really don't move our show forward. Okay, so we do know that they don't really push the message the way that somebody coming on our show that is like a normal person. Somebody like Sean that came on our show. Sean has done more for our show. Sean Carpenter, thank you very much. He's done more for her show, and I don't mean to point him out specifically, but since he's the original Funkin' fan, I'm going to anyway. He's done more for our show than Gary Vaynerchuk will ever do for our show.
Well, Gary our most downloaded city right now is San Francisco. And I think, you pointed out probably Mar was probably like patient 1, patient 0, as they say, right? Yep. So I think the reason maybe we have so many listeners in San Francisco is because of Mar, right? I mean,
no, Mar and Presh, you guys have definitely been the leading force in San Francisco. And I think what happens is as you get 1, you get 10, you get 10, you get 100. Gary Vee, if you were to call him right now and say, hey, you remember you did the Nice Guy show? He would be like,
No, don't remember.
I don't remember that. I know I probably documented, but I don't remember that. But if you say to Sean Carpenter, "Hey Sean, I heard you on the Nice Guys podcast," he would say, "Well, which episode? I've done 50 of them, or I've been mentioned on 50 of them, or something like that." So for me, I think that having the name brands are good to have them on the show because it does show that we have credibility and that we can get them. I don't think that they're the ones that push the show forward. I think that we always have to go at this. We have to approach this like we are definitely Strick. I mean, at some point we are going to be at the level. I know you may not feel this, but I truly do, and maybe you do feel this, and just we approach this differently. If you don't think that we're going to be at a level that a guy like Gary Vee will come on our show and say, "Oh my God, yes, I can't believe that you finally invited me on your show," we're going to be there. We totally are going to be there. People will call us that are celebs that want to be on our show at some point.
Yeah, it's very hard for me to see us at that level, but I would love to be there. I think it's possible that we could get there, but you're right. That's your job to think big to help get us there, and I am definitely supporting you. Can you get Mike Rowe? I really want to get Mike Rowe on the show.
I know. Well, I tried Mike Rowe from Dirtiest Jobs. I tried to get him because I have a connection to him through my brother who worked. Mike used to work in Baltimore as the guy that did, I think, one of the real estate buying shows or something like that. Oh, and my brother actually had a good connection with him, and it just didn't happen. I will work at a different angle. I know he's one of your heroes, and I will try to work that angle to get him on the show. We've had some. And let me just go back to a comment that you made. Yeah, it is my job to think in a bigger picture. And the reason I can think in a bigger picture is because all of the vision, all the visible signs are right there. I mean, Strick, I'm looking at some of the numbers. I'm looking at them right now. We are on, and I'll look at the long-term numbers. We started the show exactly 2 years ago this month, right? I think we started it in either February or March of 2000.
That's true, right?
February or March of 2015. So we're 24 months into this run. I'm looking at the scale that tells you what your downloads look like. Mm-hmm. In the month of it's crazy. It's crazy how this works. Hold on a second. Let me just get to the exact numbers here. And you can pull them up too. I'm looking at the monthly totals now. If I go back to our first month we had exactly 900 downloads.
In the whole month.
The entire month. 900 downloads. We will do that before 8 a.m. every day.
It's kind of crazy.
Okay, every day. In our 12th month, so in 1 year into this, so that would have been March of 2016. Mm-hmm. We do about 5 times more a month right now than we did. We did about 8,000 downloads in the month of March of 2016. Mm-hmm. We'll do that in a week now. And this month, March of 2017, so we're 2 years, we're 24 months into this run. We will come close if we don't go over 50,000 downloads in the month of March. The reason I'm even telling you this is because I look at it and say, if I look at our trend, it's not like it's going to go away unless we really fuck up or do something really bad, like we really, really offend somebody and we get in trouble. Can they take us off the air? I mean, can they?
Yeah, they can't do that. And I'm looking like total downloads, right? 377,000. So by the middle of the month, we're going to break 400,000. And we're not even thinking about that, right? Like, whatever, 400,000.
Well, and that's what I'm telling you. By the end of the year, my goal is 1 million downloads. When you get to 1 million downloads, it's not like we'll have arrived at any specific station. We're still going to be the same guys that we were when we started this podcast and had 900 downloads for the entire month. It's just fucking unreal to think about how the numbers have progressed. And so I do look at a bigger picture, and I do look at it and say, celeb status will call us and say we want to be on your show, because nothing is stopping us from moving beyond where we are right now. All we have to do is continue doing what we're doing, keep bringing on quality guests that we have, keep growing our fan base the way that we have, keep having these amazing funkin' fan conversations that we have. This morning, when we got on text messages, a group text message, there was 10 of us, and we were all sharing these amazing ideas about all of the fun things that we should cover in the show, which is why my list was how long? How many topics did I have?
Oh my God, it was a mile long. Yes,
it was way.
Tuesdays, the opener of Tuesday's show, and see that.
Yeah, so I would tell you that we're doing everything that we need to do properly, and shit, we're overtime on this episode too, aren't we?
It's so crazy though. I'm just looking at our downloads. It's nuts.
Do you remember when we said, okay, we're gonna have to cut the show back? We were doing 2 days. I think we were doing 2 days a week, and the episodes were like an hour. And we said, okay, and then we started to cut it back to like 20, 25 minutes, and now we're back up to 38 minutes again. We've got to stop.
Because we were getting them to like 60 and 90-minute episodes 2 days a week, so or 1 day a week when we did just one of us, and it was like, okay, well, let's split into 3 30-minute shows instead, and now we're creeping up once again. So then it's going to be like Tuesday and Thursday shows are going to be like get up to an hour, and we'll have to split them again. I'm not doing Saturday and Sunday shows. All right, Doug, that's not going to happen.
No, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. And we still have yet to cover, and I know we're really sorry. We'll put the link in the show notes. The 12 biggest worries that any entrepreneur has. But if they don't tell you, they're lying. So we'll continue to search for great guests. We'll continue to get great guests on the show. But all in all, it really is about the Funkin' fans that are out there. We just like to talk to you, and so if there's stuff that you want to hear more of, stuff that you want to hear less of, our promise statement is to deliver a something that is something and something else.
We actually did the promise statement this morning, so or today. You don't have to do that one again. I mean, you can. But it is to provide a learning experience that is entertaining and adds value to your life. Just in case anybody was wondering.
All right. Well, we're 40 minutes into this episode or so. So why don't we get out of here? We'll pick up again next week. Don't forget some amazing. This is a Thursday show. So tomorrow. Oh shit, we didn't even cover any of the guests that are going to be on the show.
No, we totally didn't talk about. Well, yesterday was Mark Asquith, and tomorrow is Mark Sefton.
And and Monday was Amy Jo Martin, and Amy Jo has a Twitter following of about 1.3 million on her Twitter gate, which is exactly why I wanted to have her on the show. Until I realized that she has this amazing podcast called Why Not Now. So go back and listen to Monday's show. Amy Jo Martin. She has interviewed people like Tony Robbins, like Tony Hsieh, Mark Cuban. She's got some major hitters in her guest count. So go back and listen to some of those as well. So
yeah, I've got almost that many Twitter followers. 1,000,003. Oh no, 103. Yeah. I have 103. Sorry, my mistake. Decimal place in the wrong place.
Yeah.
Easy to do.
That's the comma is in the wrong place.
Exactly.
All right, so never underestimate the power of nice. Again, special thanks to all of our Funkin' fans for being a part of our community. Steve O'Brien, go ahead and take us out of here.
If you're hearing my voice right now, you obviously enjoy the podcast. So why not help the guys out? Click on the Patreon link in the show notes, and for as little as $2 a month, you can show your support. Or show us whatever you want.